Hello guys, if you like my awesome gaming videos, my programming and web development courses, my editing courses and editing videos, and my tech talks and tech guidance, then you can consider subscribing to my channel and click on this bell icon to stay connected. Welcome to my channel. So this is very important topic. If you want to understand the Laravel gate and Laravel policy, this is the perfect video for you. And I'm going to show you a simple demo how this works in the real life project scenario. So for that I have to log in as admin. I'm logging as admin at gmail.com and password is password and just simple login. Okay, so here as you can see we are logged in successfully. Now if I click on this gate, okay, only admin can access this portion. If I click on this gate, as you can see we have the authorization token. If I go to the /gate, this URL, I have seen this authorization is success because I am admin. But if I go to suppose, now let me log in with user. Okay, this is simple user who cannot be authorized. Let me log in. As you can see, only this portion, user can see this portion. So I have three different things. If I go to our code and go to our resources and views .blade.php, if we successfully log in, we can see this page. Okay, so first let's understand the gate. Only the user is able to see the user content. Okay, so as you can see, if it is user can access this portion. If you are not user, you cannot see the admin portion or the editor portion. I have three users. One is admin, user, and editor. So based on this three logic, I'm gonna identify which I'm gonna let which portion. Okay, suppose in the Facebook, I cannot delete everything that other people commented on your post. I cannot delete their post or delete their comment section. I can delete only my section. So I am user here. I can only see my portion, which is gate. Okay, so this portion is unauthorized because I'm not admin. So in the controller, if I go authorization controller, I see if gate allows admin, if you are an admin, then only you can see this portion, otherwise it will abort and see 400, which is user gate. This action is unauthorized because this is for the admin. We have to check if admin is allowed. If I write is user here in the controller, if gate allows user, then we're going to show some response and show them authorization. So let me just write it here and go to gate, and here I need to change. If I go to this /gate and make sure it is user. Okay, because in the gate, if we go to our gate, we can see that if we go to auth service provider, in the gate we have admin, user, and editor section. Okay, so this is the portion that we are using. Now we change everything. We need to optimize it and serve it again. And as you can see, now if I just go to gate and click on this, the authorization is done properly because the user can now access it. Policy, which is very important, it works with the controller. So if you go to the particular post, it will go to /post, and you can see only the post that user created. Suppose I am normal user, I am logged in as a normal user, as you can see, and you can also see that here I am logged in as normal user. I can view my post. This is the post that I created. Okay, we cannot see admin post, we cannot see editor's post, we can only see my post and see the detail. So if you go home, you can see that I cannot see admin's content, only the admin can see. Okay, so if I logged in and log in as admin and password is password, as you can see, now I see only the admin portion because I'm logged in as admin. Only admin can view their post and edit them and delete them. Lot of things you can do, a lot of customization here. As you can see, this works really perfectly, and this is the portion where the importance of policy comes through. Okay, so this is the part that we're going to understand how the gate facility and the policy work together to make your application more dynamic for each user, like admin, user, editor have their own roles. Okay, so this is very important topic. Go to my GitHub profile, and in the repository I already provided all the code that you need. If I see that Laravel authorization gate policy, okay, you can get all the code that you need and write along with me and just understand the core logic, how you can do that very easily. Here I create all the application for the YouTube. Okay, so first write Laravel new gate and policy. Okay, authorization, gate policy authorization. So application created successfully. Now if I go to my application, is that open the terminal, And in the environment variable, I need to give it a database name. So just copy the application database name, and let me go to our admin panel and make sure you have the XAMPP set up properly and create a new database, okay, with the same name as the application name. It is done. Now I need to install some packages, which is composer require Laravel / UI package. So the UI package is the most common package to authorization and authentication of Laravel application. UI bootstrap auth. Okay, you can use Vue.js or React, PHP Artisan, UI React auth or Vue auth, whatever you like. As you can see, now if I go to the routes and web.php here, we have all the routes. As you can see, we have home controller, we can see all the routes that we need. And in the resources, in the views auth, we have login, we have registration system, we have login system, all of the things that you want from a Laravel application. Now I need to install npm install and npm run dev. npm install. Okay, now I need to write npm run dev. Makes it successfully done because it added your JS app.js and app.css in your application, which is very important to work with. Okay, now we need to go to our application. Let's check if it is working or not. PHP artisan serve. Let's go to our application. And in the application, as you can see, if I go to login, I can log in and register, but we don't have any users. So we need to create our users properly. So if I go to our database, here if we go to our database, migration, users, this is the place where there is most important information. And under the password, just write table, and here I'm going to use enum. And in the enum, you can see column and array allowed. Okay, you need to pass some value. Suppose role, user have a role. Based on the role, we just authenticate all of our user in our application, and based on the role, we're gonna do authorization. So in the role field, I need to accept 3 important information, which is one user is admin, one user is normal user, and then one user is actually editor. Okay, he can edit some information. And admin can do all of the stuff like crude stuff. User can only see the information, and editor can do only the edit functionality. Migrate it. Okay, as you can see, it is migrated successfully. If I see in the applications localhost, if I go get policy authorization for YouTube, in the users I see a role. Okay, so this is the important field that I need to work on. Now let's check what I need to do. I already used the UI auth package. Now in the users, you need to create an admin, user, and editor as a role. Then need to use some seeder. So for seeder, for user to create, I can use normal seeder. You can copy all of the thing. One is for user, one is for admin, and for editor. For that, you need to go to the seeders, go to database seeders. Here you need to use this kind of information. Here I need to use normal user, and you need to import the user. Just import the user model. And user you will create with the name of admin, email admin@gmail.com, and password you need to use bcrypt, and you can use any password. And the role is very, very important, and the role for this email admin@gmail.com is admin. He is actually the admin. Then we have the for the users, for user gmail.com, the password for the role is actually the normal user. Then we have the editor@gmail.com, and he is normal user. Okay, and we need to push all those users into our database using the seed. For that, I'm going to use PHP artisan db seed command. Let's check it out in our applications and the database. Let's check it out, refresh it. As you can see, we have one is name of admin, then we have user, then we have editor, and both of their role is set up properly. One is admin, user, and editor. So our initial setup is done. If I see our notes, then we can migrate the user, which is also done. And then we need to go to the app provider auth service provider. App providers auth service provider. This is the portion. Here I'm going to use all the register some policy. You can register any policy or gate, whatever you like. Use gate. As you can see, illuminate support facet gate. Just click on this, and gate we can use define, or you can use deny. 2 important information. One is define, and define will get a parameter ability and the callback function. If I use define and if I read the ability, to check if the user is an admin. If the user is an admin, then we can use a callback function. Callback function will take the parameter user. It will take a parameter of user, then it will return if the user, and it will check if the user role is equals to admin, then do something. Okay, if the user role, it will go to the database. It will database and go to the user role. So this is the portion we are accessing. If I zoom in, this is the role portion. Okay, we're checking if the user is admin, user, or editor. So let's check it out. We get defines is admin. This is for the admin functionality, admin gate. If the user role is equals to admin, then this thing or this gate will be fired. Okay, then we can use 3gate. Then we use it for the user. We're gonna check if it is a user or not. Then we're gonna go to user role. If the user role is equals to user, then do something. Then same is for editor, camel case editor, and the user role, it will check is editor. Okay, so our 3gate is defined as name as editor, is user, is admin, and is editor. So this is done perfectly in the auth service provider. Okay, this is in the auth service provider. Now let me close it out. And in the layout we have app.blade.php, and we can use a content. Okay, now here is the most important thing. Here I'm gonna write an h4 tag with a class of text center. Okay, I think the bootstrap is already added here, and here I'm gonna write this is admin. This content is for admin. Okay, so how can we do that? In the blade, a blade template called can. Okay, can will use is admin, is editor, or is user. This is the same thing that we define in route service provider. Very important thing. If you just write it is admin and then wrap it around within this tag, can and end can within the gate, then you see this is only for the admin. Okay, you can copy this thing and paste this thing again, and this is for the normal user, and this is for user, and another is for editor, and this is for editor. Okay, so very simple and easy stuff that you can see. Now what I need to do, I need to just log in php artisan optimize, and then serve it again. Very simple. Password is normal password. If we just log in, and it says this is for the admin section. Okay, normal people can't access that. So if I just write it, just uncomment this out, if this is for the user, then this content is not there because you are logged in as admin, and you should see this information only when the gate says it is for the admin. So if I only write it for the admin, if I write it as a gate, only then you can see this. Okay, only then you can see this, because this user currently role as admin, and in the gate we already see, if I go to provider, author provider, we already defined if the user role is equals to admin, then this gate is admin is gonna work and gonna see all the information in the home page. Okay, if it matches with admin. Okay, if I say it other user or editor, you cannot see this portion. So let me go to this part, just uncomment it out, and I'm gonna just log it out, and I'm gonna use password as login, and this is for the editor section. So this is very simple and easy stuff. You can understand it pretty easily. But how can I do that? How can I see this portion in the route guard? In the route guard, for that we need to go to the web.php. In the web.php, I'm going to write a simple route here, and I'm going to name it as gate. Okay, this is for the gate, and I'm going to name it as index normally, and I need to create a new controller for that, which is PHP artisan make controller, and which is authorization. Okay, we have a new controller, and just write it authorization controller, authorization controller, and I'm gonna go to this index. If I go to the index method, it will work, gate dot index. Okay, so this is the place. If I go to authorization controller, and if I go to app http controller, authorization controller index method, authorization controller, here I need to write public function index method, it worked for admin. Okay, so we are using the route guard. In the route guard, we need to use one more middleware, and the middleware should be can, and you need to write is admin. Okay, so this is very important. So we worked with the gate in blade, then in the controller, then in the route. In the route, you're gonna say middleware can is admin. Okay, can is admin. So if I write it like this way, if I go to the index, you will see it worked for the admin in the route. So as I change the route, I need to optimize it, and normal user, and password is password, and it works. If I go to /gate, this action is unauthorized. This action is unauthorized because you can't see them. But if I change it to, if I go to our routes and change it to is user, okay, then what will happen? It will go to this route and go to index. It worked for user. I'm going to change it for the user, and for that I need to optimize it again and serve it. And now for the user, if I go to gate, it worked for the user, and this work for the user is coming from this functionality. If I go to web, and it will go into the gate, and if I go to the gate, it will go to the authorization controller, it will go to the index method, and it's going to return it worked for the user. So this is the main basic concept. In the middleware user, I just use normal user because user can see this. But if I write it for admin, okay, and save it and go to the index, in work for admin. So our route is now based on the admin, and I already simplified it in the auth service provider, which is the main place for gate, is admin, is user, or is editor. Now if I just optimize it and serve it again, you cannot access this portion because you are normal user, you don't have this access. But if you turn it into the admin, then you can easily see this portion. Step that you need to follow in the controller section. In the controller section, I need to use gate again. So Illuminate support facet gate allows two things. One is allows and one is denies. You can use anything, but normally I use allows. If gate allows is admin, okay, then some argument would be passed. Okay, so if the gate allows admin, then I'm going to pass some response, and this response is Illuminate auth access response. Make sure it is auth access response, and call allow method. So it will go to the response and go to the allow method, and this response allow is coming from Illuminate auth access allow. Okay, otherwise abort, and just use 403, which is authorization protection. Okay, you can use this thing, and I'm going to return authorization. You can return anything. You can return a view page. If you create a template, okay, you can create a new template page and return a view page if you want. So if the gate allows is admin, show them the particular responses, or if the user is not admin, then show abort message. Okay, this is for the controller guard. Now if I just remove this thing, okay, let me cut it here and paste it. save it here. So if I go to the gate again and go to our gate, as you can see 403 forbidden. This is using the controller guard. So this is the portion which is very important for many people to understand how the controller guard is working. Okay, my gate is completely done almost. Let me go to the policy section. If I go to policy section, if you want to learn more about policy, you can use if not gate allows, then it will work in the reverse way. It means that gate does not allow the update post if you are not admin, this type of thing. And if gate allows updating some post, if you want to update some post of that particular post you need to give, then user can update the post. Okay, and if the gate for the particular user denies the update post, then the user cannot update the post. The allows is the opposite of denies. You can use any of those things, or you can use gate any update post or delete post. You can use multiple parameter, the information update post or delete post. Okay, you can do that. So there is a lot of important thing. Gate authorize, you can use any authorization section, you can use those things. So you should understand a lot about it and understand what is going on here. So let me go and see how the policy work now. So generating a policy. So to generate a policy, you need to work with another model here. So for that, I'm going to create PHP artisan make model post model with a migration of M. Okay, so let me go to our database first, and database, and here migration post, and post will have two information, and we have a post will have a string of title, post to a string of title, and make it nullable. And one more thing, okay, the title is necessary, so this is important. And then we have short description, so it should be description, and description is actually a text. So post have normally a title and description section. Okay, so this is important, and we need to connect it with our user. So for that, we need to connect it with unsigned big integer. We need to use this thing, and we need to write user ID, because post cannot be created by just normal robot or anything. Post must be created some person, or blog post must be created some person who have some user ID. Here we have three user: admin, user, and editor. Okay, so three important user we have. So based on that ID, we need to create some post, and he will have the post title, post description, and some user ID who created it. And here we need to just connect it table, and you can use two things. You can use foreign ID, you can use foreign ID, user ID, but here I'm going to use the old method. I'm going to use foreign, and foreign key would be user ID, because this post belongs to particular user. References on ID on which tables, on users table, and on delete I'm going to use cascade. I hope you know about this. And we need to make a factory for that. PHP artisan make factory, and it should be product, it should be post factory. Okay, so created a new factory. Oh, let me go to our factories here, and post factory, and in the post factory we're gonna use something called user underscore ID, which would be coming from the random of 1 up to 3, because we have 3 users. Then we have the post title, that would be coming from this faker, this.faker.sentence description. Okay, post title and description and the user ID. So these are the 3 important information that we need. And let me go to our seeders, DB seeders. Here I'm going to use post factory. It will go to our factory and create suppose 8 post. Okay, I'm going to create it. and I can just comment it out because I don't want to create this thing. I just want to create some post, 8 posts actually, based on this information. Post factory, user ID, title, and description. Use protected fielable. In the protected fielable, I need to write the user ID and the title of the post and the short description. So this is very important, the short description. And one more important thing is that this post will belong to particular user. So public function user, and I'm gonna write return this belongs to particular user, the class, and we're gonna connect it with user ID. Okay, so it means that if I go to the post, this post must be belong to particular user. Okay, we connect it with user ID foreign key. Now I hope it will work. So php artisan db seed. Okay, so the database seeding is done. If I go to our migration folder and post factory, it will be created. And the seeder, as you can see, the post factory, we have 8 posts in our database now. If I refresh it, as you can see, we have a title, we have description, created, updated, and each user ID. And it is in random order. User ID 3 is editor, user ID 2 is normal user, and user ID 1 is admin. If I just hover over it, as you can see, we can see a different user ID. Now I need to show all the information in the view. So in the view, I need to create a new folder called policy, and in the policy, I'm going to create a new folder called index.blade.php. Okay, we're going to see some information in the policy. Now we need to add some information in the policy. So for that, we need to web.php and create a new route, and this is for the post route. And if I go to the /post, it will show us all the posts. Let me go to index as well, and this is for the post controller. So we need to create one more controller, php artisan make controller post controller. Okay, or post controller. So if I go to the post controller here, post controller index method, it will go to the post.index. So here I need to create one more route here into the home. Here I'm gonna write a simple h3 tag, and here I'm gonna use post, and here I'm gonna use an anchor tag, and I'm gonna see posts, and here I'm gonna put that route post.index. Okay, so this is very important, and I'm gonna use class of btn dash success. So if I go to /post, it will go to the post controller and go to the index method. So let me go to the post controller and go to the index method. Here we have a post controller, and here we have an index. Let me just zoom in for you so that you can see it perfectly. And public function index, and here I'm going to show all the posts that we post in the database. We just parse all the information by title, description, all of those things. Now we have to use some simple post, and this is the variable that will go to the post model and get all the post information that we need, and I'm going to return some view, and I'm going to return the view to the policy.index. and I'm going to show all the information on the compact. I'm going to use this post. Now I passed all the data of the post into the database. Well, now we can just easily copy and paste something from our GitHub profile. First, we need to work with the index. Here will show every single thing. Just copy and paste it out, because this thing is not that important to understand. The main thing is coming right now. First, we have the authenticated username in the container. Then we just use a simple table in the container. Suppose call md8, we used id title category instead of category. Here I have description, okay, and the user who posted that information, and have an action. So for each post as post, I'm going to show the post id, title, and their description, and the post username. Here I can write the post user because this post belongs to particular user who created that, and that user has a name. Okay, so this is the thing, that's why we just initiated this relationship in the model. This post, this is the variable that we are accessing. Post have user, and this because the post belongs to particular user, that's why you can access this variable user to get username. Okay, so if I go to policy index page here, and as you can see, post, and it has a user and user has a name. So we have a title, description, post ID, everything that we need. And we just gonna delete this thing, we don't need that, and we also don't need that at this moment. Okay, at this moment we don't need this. We just have an anchor tag that we can view the page information or the post detail. We can go to post detail page using this. So later we're gonna create this route, but at this moment I need to show the information. If I go to our application here, just delete this out. If I go to this application, we're seeing as user. Okay, so if I go to that posts, we see all the post. Okay, so now I'm not editor, but still I can go to and view this information, which is not right. And normal admin also can see that, user can see this information, and the editor also sees that information. So we have all the information, ID, title, description, but the action is not the simple thing. Action, in the action panel, I want to have a feature that only editor can see his information, but user cannot. And suppose we are logged in a user, here I cannot see the editor's post, I cannot see admin post, I can see only my information or my post. Okay, so this is the functionality I want to gather. So how can I do that? Now, this is the place where policy comes in, and policy will help you to identify how can you do that. Okay, so simple, you don't need to copy anything, just write the simple thing that I wrote here. First we have to make a policy, and make a policy based on your logic. So to make a policy, so PHP artisan make policy, and I'm gonna name it as product policy. So you don't need to just copy anything or copy paste anything, just go to the create policies in the Laravel documentation and just write PHP artisan make policy, and you need to make policy for which table, for post table or post model. If you want it for any customer policy, or if you want to anything like product policy for product module, you need to work with this. Or suppose here I'm going to work with post module, so that's why I'm going to write it as post policy. Okay, or you can also write PHP artisan make policy post policy dash dash model post. Model is actually our post here. Okay, so if I just write it like this way, we have a new policy, and here you will see all of the information. We have the app model, post integrated, user integrated, all of those things. And here you have seen all the models like view, and here you will get all the functionality important like view. You can see the particular user who can see the particular post or update it or delete it. You can do any kind of customization in the policy, because policy is directly designed in a way that you can work with particular controller. You make controller for post controller, and you make a policy for the post policy. Suppose you have a policy for the comment controller, you can use policy for the comment controller or comment policy that you can customize. Here if we write controller index, then policy, it will work as view any. If we go to the show method, it will work as view. So that's why we need to work with the view method here if you want to show that information, okay, or view the information of each particular product, because I want to see all the information that that particular user created. Suppose in the admin, I can directly go to the view and edit something. Okay, I can do this kind of stuffs. So for this kind of information, I need to go to the C post and do whatever we like. Okay, so here I'm gonna write return. We have user and post. Suppose user, and this user ID is equals to post, because post is connected with the post model, and the post model also has a user underscore ID. Okay, so if I go to database and go to the post, and post has a user ID, okay, and user has a normal ID. Okay, so post has a user ID. So this is the important part. If the post and user ID is same as the current user who is admin, and his ID is equals to the person who posted that, and his user ID is actually the same, It means that suppose we have admin ID of 1. This ID is identical to the post user ID, which is also 1. If these two things matches, if the current user who is logged in is actually the post user ID, which actually the creating this post is ID same, then it means that you can do anything. You can view this information. Okay, you can return. So this is the only line of code in the post policy that you need. If you want to work with create functionality, update functionality, delete functionality, then you can do this very simply. Now let's implement this feature. So for that, I need to go to our policy, and here I'm going to create a new folder called show.play.php, and here I'm going to show each and every information. Now we need to go to the web.php and go to and copy this thing. Now we have to go to the post/post. So you are going to the each post based on its post ID, and this is the route model binding. We're using the model, and here I need to go to show method. Okay, show method or view method, because the controller show method is actually the view in the policy. So here I'm gonna write post.show. Okay, we're gonna show each post. Here I'm gonna go to the show method. Let me go there and create a function similar to that. Just copy this thing and paste here. This is actually the show, and show it by the post. Okay, and here I'm gonna return something. I'm gonna return that particular post. You can write post and return this post. Okay, so let me check if it is working properly or not. And here I'm gonna use post with, because we have a model of user, post with user get, return a view called policy.show, and in the policy.show I'm gonna see with post, and this post is actually this post. Okay, so it will return some view. So go to web.php. If I go to that post, it will see some information. So before that, I'm going to go to the index and policy.index, and here I need to define that route, and this route is actually policy.show. So this is the route. If I go to the route, and this is the policy.show, or actually this is actually the post.show. If we go to that, we see this information, actually the post.show. Okay, this button would be shown. And one more information, the can. Okay, so can, here I need to write can view. You can view this thing only you wrote it. Okay, so can view, this view, just save it first. This view is actually coming from the policy, this view method. Okay, this view method is super important. Remember that this view method is remind that the person who created the post can see the post. Okay, so this is the thing that implemented here. If you created the post, if the view method support the particular post that you created, then only you can go to this view method. Okay, so this is the thing is super important. And we need to pass one more parameter here, and we need to pass post. Okay, so as you can see, only the user, I'm logged in as user, I can see only my post, because you created this. Okay, if you created that particular post, show.blade.php, and here you can copy each of those information, paste it, and we have the authenticated user, post title, and post description, and go home button, and go home button will redirect to post.index page. Okay, so let me just see that if it working or not. So we go to view. As you can see, we can see it is created by the particular user, because we see there is an h3 tag of authenticated user name. It will show, and it will show the particular post title, is description, and all of those things, because we passed it here. As you can see, particular post, it will go to the show method. In the show method, it will go to the route model binding, it will go to the individual post, and with that information you need to go to the show page with that particular information. And here I'm gonna see all the post title, description, and all of those things. So it works perfectly without any issues. So you can understand how it is working. If I log it out, if I now log in as editor post, and here as you can see only editor can see their post. Okay, so this is the important, and you cannot see the admins one or users one. So this is the thing that we want to gather. So this is actually the normal blade information. If I go to the web.php, if I see that there is still a catch, I see the editor post ID is 1, the user post ID is actually the 2. So if I go to 2, I can see the user post ID because the post ID of 2 is created by user. Okay, and number 1 is for the editor. I can see users information, so I need to guard the route as well. So for the route guard, I need to go there and use a simple thing. Let me see my notes. So in the route guard, you need to use middleware can view which information. Okay, so this is the thing that you need to do, and here I'm going to use a middleware, and in the middleware I'm going to use can view. He can view this information. If you created this information, you can view this information. Okay, and we need to pass post. Which post? This is the post that you need to pass. Okay, so let me check if it is working or not, and we need to optimize it again, serve it. Now let's check it out. If okay, we can access the post ID of 1. It is created by this editor. Nice. If I go to post ID of 2, this action is unauthorized because you can only see this post when you just created it. If you don't create that, you cannot see that. Okay, can view. Just write can view, and this view is simple as it is just coming from this policy view method. Okay, simple. And one more thing, and which I want to show you here, just delete this thing. And now everybody can see that if we go to the particular route, this is not route guarded. Okay, so one more thing, if I go to our controller and if I go to the post controller, now here we need to use one more thing, which is this authorize, and this authorize will take some ability like can view. He can view the post. So this is directly coming from the Laravel documentation. In the documentation, you see this kind of things. As you can see, this authorize, he can create, and this is actually for the create function. You need to use this authorize and the policy name, suppose create, and you can create this post. Okay, it's simple. This is the way you need to define this dot authorize. Okay, this dot authorize, and their name actually. Okay, which they can do. So this dot authorize, this he can view this information, view this post. Okay, the person who is authorized can view this information. If you created that, only you can see this in the controller. So this is actually working in the controller. I deleted the route guard here so that I can see the controller is working properly here. And go to the Laravel and go to the view. You can view because you are authorized as editor. You can see your own post, but you cannot see users. So user post ID is actually the 2. So as you can see, this action is unauthorized because you need to authorize this thing. And suppose we have a delete, you can also delete this information. So for that, you need to just create a new policy, and in the policy you just here you need to create delete. You can easily delete. You can delete this stuff. Okay, simple as it is. You can delete this stuff, and let me, if you are authenticated as current user, if you created that post, only then you can delete them. So how can you do that? You can also do that in the delete, and now our policy name is delete. You can copy this thing, and post controller you can create a new, just paste, just use. We need to delete it. Let me call this as destroy. You can destroy any post perfectly without any issues. You can cut it. You can delete this if you are authorized. Post delete. Okay, you can easily delete this thing, and after delete you're gonna return, redirect route post dot index. Here I'm going to show all the post. So our delete is done properly. You need to use this delete. Now I need to go to web.php, and here you can copy anything, and here I'm going to use delete and based on this post ID, and here I'm going to use destroy method, and here we can identify the route. We can use the route guard or middleware, which is also work perfectly. Here I didn't use any middleware, but if you want to use the middleware, here I'm going to write middleware, and middleware I'm going to write can delete. Okay, you can delete which thing? This post. Okay, you can delete any post. If I go destroy, this function would be successfully done. Okay, you can delete this post when this authorization is done. So in the middleware also done it. We just use it in the controller. We can also use this thing policy, and simple. This is very simple stuff you can do for update, edit, create, every single thing you can do that. Delete. Okay, post delete particular ID. Okay, I think this will work properly. And here index, you can use one more thing, one more action to delete, and you can use this delete, and this delete is coming from this just save it first. This delete is coming from this policy called delete. Okay, this is the delete. Okay, so you can delete it easily. If I go to index page, it should be post dot delete. You can use, and you can use this delete, this post ID you can delete, and this should be danger, and this is delete. Okay, one is for view, one is for delete, and you can delete this, and post and post dot delete. You can just copy this route and paste it here. Okay, so now I guess you understand a lot of things, and I can only delete my portion. Okay, if I delete this one, as you can see, this is deleted. Now we have only one information to delete. This works perfectly. For the last time, login, and we can see the post. This is actually for the post, and as you can see, user can say delete all of those things. So I'm just deleting it, and as you can see, it works so perfectly, so easily in the policy section. So I hope you understand a lot of things, how the policy work. If you want to know more, just read the documentation. Here it says everything. Just use the controller, use the policy in the controller, and use this in the route, in the blade, whichever you can use those things. Okay, so I showed you how can you do that is using the simple steps and 3 different way in the index. As you can see here, I use the policy that you can understand and build a lot of amazing steps and projects in the future that help you a lot to make dynamic content like this in the near future. You can easily use your role management properly with it, and also authorize your application perfectly with the gate and policy. So thanks for watching. I'll be seeing in the next video with lots of amazing quality content in the next future. So till then, take care. Bye bye.